Imidazole. Alternative form of imidazole. Imidazoles. Plural of imidazole. Imine. Any of a class of organic nitrogen compounds having the general formula R2C equals NR. They are tautomeric with enamines. Imminent. Misspelling of imminent. Imines. Plural of imine. Iming. Present participle and gerundive I am. Imenic. Relating to or derived from an imine. Iminio. A form of quaternary ammonium cation derived from an imine, R2C equals N plus R2. Iminiums. Plural of iminium. Amino. The divalent radical equals NH or equals NR. Amino acid. Imidic acid. Amino acids. Plural of amino acid. Aminosidate. Any salt or ester of aminocetic acid. Aminosidates. Plural of aminosidate. Aminocetic acid. The amino acid NH equals CH2 derived from acetic acid, any derivative of this compound. Aminocetic acids. Plural of aminocetic acid. Aminorginine. The derivative of arginine 5-diaminophthalidene-amino-2-aminopentanoic acid. Aminospartate. The anion of aminospartic acid, any salt containing this anion. Aminospartates. Plural of aminospartate. Aminospartic acid. The amino acid 2-aminobutanoic acid. Aminosanium. A quaternary ammonium cation of the form Rn equals N plus R2. Aminobiathane. A derivative of biotin in which the guanidine carbonyl group C equals O is replaced by that of an amine C equals NH. Aminoctedine. A particular fungicide with the formula of CHN7. Aminocyclitol. Any amino derivative of a cyclitol, some of whose derivatives are glycosidase inhibitors. Aminocyclitols. Plural of aminocyclitol. Aminodiacidate. Any salt or ester of aminodiacetic acid. The associated anion can act as a tridentate ligand. Aminodiacidates. Plural of aminodiacidate. Aminodiacetic acids. The compound A10CH2CO2H whose ionic form is a tridentate ligand. Aminodiethanol. The compound diethanolamine. Aminodipeptidase. The enzyme cytosol nonspecific dipeptidase. Aminodipeptidases. Plural of aminodipeptidase. Aminoester. Any ester of an amino acid. Aminosters. Plural of aminoester. Aminother. A chemical compound with is both an amine and an ether. Aminothers. Plural of aminother. Aminothiol. The univalent radical CH3C equals NHNH. Aminoglycinuria. A rare autosomal recessive disorder of renal tubular transport affecting reabsorption of the amino acid glycine and the amino acids proline and hydroxyproline, resulting in excess urinary excretion of all three acids. Aminoglycinurias. Plural of aminoglycinuria. Aminoglycinuric. Of or relating to aminoglycinuria. Aminohydrolase. Any enzyme that catalyzes the hydrolysis of an imine. Aminohydrolases. Plural of aminohydrolase. Aminoiodinane. Any hypervalent iodine compound of general formula Rn equals IR. Aminoiodinanes. Plural of aminoiodinane. Aminoisoindolene. isoindolene with one of the hydrogen atoms replaced by an amino group. Aminoctene. Any aminoderivative of a ketene N equals C equals C equals O. Aminoctenes. Plural of aminoctene. Aminolactone. Any lactone that also contains an amino group. Aminolactones. Plural of aminolactone. Aminonitrile. A chemical compound containing an amine and a nitrile group attached to the same carbon atom. Equals CZN. Aminoxy. Synonym of alkali aminoxyl. Aminopeptidase. Any peptidase that selectively attacks an amine or secondary amines such as proline. Aminopeptidases. Plural of aminopeptidase. Aminopeptide. Aminopeptides. Plural of aminopeptide. Aminophenol. The alicyclic compound 6-amino 2,4-cyclohexadiene 1-ol. Aminophosphine. Any aminoderivative of an organic phosphine. Aminophosphines. Plural of aminophosphine. Aminophosphorane. Any aminoderivative of a phosphorane having general formula R3P equals NR. Aminophosphoranes. Plural of aminophosphorane. Iminoquinone. Any compound formally derived from a quinone by replacing one carbonyl group C equals O with an amine C equals NH or C equals NR. Iminoquinones. Plural of iminoquinone. Iminorbitol. An aminoderivative of ribitol. Iminorbitals. Plural of iminorbitol. Aminos. Plural of amino. Imenestilbene. Dibenzazepine. Imenestilbenes. Plural of imenestilbene. Imenesugar. Any analog of a sugar having a nitrogen atom at the position of the endocyclic oxygen atom. Imenesugars. Plural of imenesugar. Imenoxy. Synonym of alkali aminoxyl. Imenoxyl. Synonym of alkali aminoxyl. Imenoxyls. Plural of imenoxyl. Amens. Plural of amen. Emit. Abbreviation of imagery intelligence. Diminutive. In Yiddish, is second degree or more intensive diminutive form. Amenyl. Any of a class of univalent radicals derived from an amine R2. C equals N. Aminylium. Any of a class of univalent cations derived from an amine R2C equals N+. Aminyliums. Plural of aminylium. Imanyls. Plural of imanyl. Imidum. A broad-spectrum beta-lactam antibiotic. Imidinase. Any enzyme that catalyzes the breakdown of imidinum. Imidinases. Plural of imidinase. Imidinums. Plural of imidinum. Imipramine. A synthetic compounds trademark tofranil used to treat depression. Imipramines. Plural of imipramine. Imipramine oxide. A tricyclic antidepressant that is an analog and metabolite of imipramine. Imipridone. Any of a group of heterocyclic amides that are anti-cancer agents. Imipridones. Plural of imipridone. Imiprinephrine. A neurotoxin of the pyrethroid class used as an insecticide. Imiquoline. Any of a group of imidazoquinoxylanes that have anti-cancer properties. Imiquolines. Plural of imiquoline. Imiquimod. A particular topical immune response modifier. Imiquimod. alternative form of imiquimod. Ilit, abbreviation of imitation. Imitability, the property or status of being imitable. Imitable, capable of being imitated or copied. Imitableness, the state or quality of being imitable or worthy of imitation. Imitancy, tendency to imitation. Imitate, an imitator. Imitance, plural of imitant. Imitate, to follow as a model or a pattern, to make a copy, counterpart, or semblance of. Imitated, simple past and past participle of imitate. Imitati, one that is imitated. Imitates, plural of imitati. Imitator, alternative form of imitator. Imitators, plural of imitator. Imitates, third person singular simple present indicative of imitate. Imitatus, second person singular simple present indicative of imitate. Imitata, third person singular simple present indicative of imitate. Imitating, present participle and gerund of imitate. Imitatings, plural of imitating. Imitatio Dei, the practice or virtue of acting in the ways of God. Imitation, the act of imitating. Imitation game, synonym of Turing test. Imitation games, plural of imitation game. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Copying or mimicking another individual is a sign of admiration of that person. Imitation lace, lace made with machinery. Imitation laces, plural of imitation lace. Imitation vanilla, synthetically produced vanillin, used in place of vanilla extract from vanilla beans. Imitation vanillas, plural of imitation vanilla. Imitational, pertaining to, employed in, or using, imitation. Imitationally, in terms of or by means of imitation. Imitationism, the practice of imitating the style of another. Imitationist, one who imitates the style of another. Imitationists, plural of imitationists. Imitations, plural of imitation. Imitative, imitating, copying, not original. Imitative harmonies, plural of imitative harmony. Imitative harmony, onomatopoeia. Imitatively, in an imitative manner. Imitativeness, the state of being imitative, imitation. Imitativity, the quality of being imitative. Imitator, a person who imitates or apes another. Imitators, plural of imitator. Imitatorship, the state or quality of an imitator. Imitator, obsolete form of imitator. Imitators, plural of imitator. Imitatress, a female imitator. Imitatrices, plural of imitatress. Imitatrix, a female imitator. Imitatrixes, plural of imitatrix. Imitari, a monoclinic prismatic white-gray mineral containing mercury, silver, and sulfur. Away, a surname. Imles, plural of Imle. Imler, a surname from German. Imlers, plural of Imler. Immels, initialism of Institute of Museum and Library Services. Oh, a surname. The contraction of I'm gonna. Immaculacies, plural of immaculacy. Immaculacy, immaculateness. Immaculance, immaculateness. Immaculata, the Virgin Mary. Immaculate, having no blemish or stain, absolutely clean and tidy. Immaculate Conception, a barangay of Quezon City. Metro Manila, Philippines. Immaculate Conception, the doctrine in the Roman Catholic Church that the Virgin Mary was conceived biologically but free from original sin. Immaculate Concussion, an instance of Havana Syndrome. Immaculate Concussions, plural of immaculate concussion. Immaculate Disinflation, a situation where inflation decreases without a corresponding increase in unemployment or a slowdown in economic growth. Immaculate Disinflations, plural of immaculate disinflation. Immaculately, in an immaculate manner, in a manner free of stain or blemish, without being defiled. Immaculateness, the characteristic of being immaculate, spotlessness. Immaculism, belief in the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary. Immalleable, not malleable. Immanagal, to managal. Immanacle, simple past and past participle of immanacle. Immanacles, third person singular simple present indicative of immanacle. Immanacling, present participle and gerund of immanacle. A function or property of a matrix defined as a generalization of the concepts of determinant and permanent. Immanence, plural of immanent. Emanate, to flow inward. Emanated, simple past and past participle of emanate. Emanates, third person singular simple present indicative of emanate. Emanating, present participle and gerund of emanate. Emanation, a flowing or entering in. Emanations, plural of emanation. Emang, very large, huge, vast. Emanly, vastly, prodigiously. Emanence, the state of being immanent, inherency. Immanences, plural of immanence. Immanences, plural of immanency. Immanence. Alternative form of immanence. Immanent, naturally part of something, existing throughout and within something, intrinsic. Immanent critique, the criticism of a philosophy using its own standpoint. Immanent critiques, plural of immanent critique. Immanentize, alternative form of immanentize. Immanentized, simple past and past participle of immanent. Immanentizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immanentize. Immanentizing, present participle and gerund of immanentize. Immanentism, a doctrine based on immanence, especially the immanence of God. Immanentisms, plural of immanentism. Immanentists, a proponent of immanentism. Immanentiste, of or relating to immanentism. Immanentists, plural of immanentists. Immanentization, the process of immanentizing. Immanentize, to make immanent. Immanentize, simple past and past participle of immanentize. Immanentizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immanentize. Immanentizing, present participle and gerund of immanentize. Immanently, in an immanent manner. A manifest, not manifest. A manifestness, the quality of being a manifest. A manades, plural of immanity. Immanity, great size, enormousness, hugeness. Immantle, to cover, to mansle. Immantle, simple past and past participle of a mantle. Immantles, third person singular simple present indicative of the mantle. Immantling, present participle and gerund of a mantle. Immano, a figure whose birth is prophesied in the book of Isaiah in the Bible. Immarcessibility, the quality of being immarcessible. Immarcessible, permanent, enduring, that does not perish. Immarcessibly, in an immarcessible manner. Emarginate, not having a distinctive margin or border. Immartial, not martial, unwarlike. Emasculate, to make into a man, to make manly, or cause to have a male perspective. Emask, to cover as with a mask, to disguise or conceal. Emasked, simple past and past participle of amasked. Emasking, present participle and gerund of amass. Emasks, third person singular simple present indicative of emask. Immaterial, matchless, peerless. Immaterial, having no matter or substance, incorporeal. Immaterialize, alternative form of immaterialize. Immaterialize, simple past and past participle of immaterialize. Immaterializes, third person singular simple present indicative of immaterialize. Immaterializing, present participle and gerund of immaterialize. Immaterialism, the metaphysical denial of the existence of the material world. Immaterialisms, plural of immaterialism. Immaterialist, a supporter of the philosophy of immaterialism. Immaterialiste, not concerned with material things. Immaterialists, plural of immaterialists. Immaterialities, plural of immateriality. Immateriality, the state of being immaterial. Immaterialize, to render immaterial or incorporeal. Immaterialize, simple past and past participle of immaterialize. Immaterializes, third person singular simple present indicative of immaterialize. Immaterializing, present participle and gerund of immaterialize. Immaterially, in an immaterial man. Immaterialness, the state of being immaterial, immateriality. Immaterials, plural of immaterial. Immaterial, immature, occurring before the proper time, untimely, premature, especially of death. Immature dependent, one of the four subtypes of dependent personality disorder, pure pattern which doesn't share features from other personality disorders. Immatured, not having matured. Immaturely, giving an appearance of immaturity. Childishly. Immatureness, the quality or state of being immature, immaturity. Immature, comparative form of immature, more immature. Immatures, plural of immature. Immaturists, superlative form of immature, most immature. Immaturities, plural of immaturity. Immaturity, youth, the condition of being immature or not fully grown. Immobility, inability to pass through or to permit passage. Immediately, misspelling of immediately. Immeasurabilities, plural of immeasurability. Immeasurability, synonym of immeasurableness. Immeasurable, impossible to measure. Immeasurable light, the light emanating from the Amida Buddha. Immeasurableness, the state or condition of being immeasurable. Immeasurables, plural of immeasurable. Immeasurably, in a manner that is not measurable, in a way that cannot be measured. Immeasurate, without or beyond measure, unending, boundless. Immeasure, that has not been measured, huge, enormous. Immechanical, not mechanical. Immechanically, in a manner that is not mechanical. Abbreviation of immediate. Immediate, unable to be mediated, irresolvable. Immediacies, plural of immediacy. Immediacy, the quality of being immediate, of happening right away. Immediate, happening right away, instantly, with no delay. Immediate families, plural of immediate family. Immediate family, a family unit consisting of a parent or parents and their children. Immediate mode, a mode in which the application is directly responsible for rendering graphics to the display, contrasting with retained mode. Immediate pursuit, synonym of hot pursuit. Immediate pursuits, plural of immediate pursuit. Immediately, in an immediate manner, instantly or without delay. Immediateness, the state of being immediate, immediacy. Immediatenesses, plural of immediateness. Immediatism, a political philosophy embracing the virtues of immediate social interactions with people as a means of countering the antisocial consequences of consumerist capitalism. Immediatist, a proponent of immediatism. Immediatists, plural of immediatists. Immediate, of or relating to the grammatical aspect which expresses a secondary action which occurs immediately before the primary action of a statement. Immediately, obsolete form of immediately. Immediately, not immediately, immediate. Immedicable, incurable, not able to be assisted by medicine. Immedicably, in an immedicable way, incurably. Emel, a surname. Emelmum, a surname from German. Emelman, ellipsis of Emelman turn. Emelman maneuver. Emelman turn. Emelman maneuvers. Plural of Emelman maneuver. Emelman turn, a WWI-era fighter pilot maneuver resembling the aerobatic wingover or hammerhead turn, originally developed by Max Emelman. Emelman turns, plural of Emelman turn. Emelmans, plural of Emelman. Melodious, not melodious. Emels, plural of Emel. Immemorable, whose origins have been forgotten. Immemorial. Immemorably, in an immemorable way. Immemorial, that is beyond memory, ancient. Immemorially, in an immemorial manner from time immemorial. Mario. Immense, huge, gigantic, very large. Immense, a village in Kuznat municipality, Schwyz Canton, Switzerland. Immensely, greatly, hugely, extremely, vastly, to a great extent. Immenseness, the property of being immense. Immensenesses, plural of immenseness. Immenser, comparative form of immense, more immense. Immensas, plural of immense. Immensa, superlative form of immense, most immense. Immensible, immeasurable. Immensities, plural of immensity. Immensity, the state or characteristic of being immense. Immensive, huge. Immensely, in an immensive manner. Immeasurability, the quality of being immeasurable. Immeasurable, unmeasurable, immeasurable, not able to be measured, therefore connoting extremely large. Immeasurableness, the quality of being immeasurable. Immensurate, beyond measure, unlimited. A bird in genus Gavia. Emerge, to plunge something into, under, or within anything, especially a fluid, to immerse, to dip. Emerge, simple past and past participle of emerge. Emergence. Emergen. Emergences, plural of emergence. Emerges, third person singular simple present indicative of emerge. Emerging, present participle and gerund of emerge. Emerit, lack of worth, demerit. Immerited, unmerited. Immeritorious, unworthy of merit, not deserving of merit, not meritorious. Immeritoriously, in an immeritorious manner. Immeritoriousness, that property of being immeritorious. Emeritus, undeserving. Immersible, alternative form of immersible. Immersal, the act of immersing, immersion. Immersols, plural of immersal. Immerse, to place within a fluid, generally a liquid, but also a gas. Immersed, under the surface of a liquid, sunk. Immersement, immersion. Immersements, plural of immersement. Immerser, one who immerses, as for example one who carries out baptism by immersion. Immersers, plural of immerser. Immerses, third person singular simple present indicative of immerse. Immersibility, the quality of being immersible. Immersible, not susceptible to harm if immersed in water. Immersing, present participle and gerund of immerse. Immeria, the act of immersing or the condition of being immersed. Immersion blender, a long electric handheld tool with sharp blades at the end designed for immersion into food to mash or liquefy it. Immersion blenders, plural of immersion blender. Immersion foot, a medical condition somewhat similar to frostbite that can affect the feet when they are constantly cold and wet. Immersion heater, a device for supplying domestic hot water in which a thermostatically controlled heating element is immersed within a tank of water. Immersion heaters, plural of immersion heater. Immersion journalism, a style of journalism where the journalist immerses himself/herself in a situation and attempts to document the subjective experience. Immersion lens, a microscopic objective of short focal distance designed as himself/herself in a situation and attempts to document the subjective experience. Immersion lens, a microscopic objective of short focal distance designed to work with a drop of liquid between the front lens and the slide so that this lens is practically immersed. Immersion lenses, plural of immersion, lens. Immersion oil, a transparent oil of a specific refractive index and viscosity used to increase the resolving power of a microscope by filling the gap between the objective lens and the specimen. Immersional, that involves immersion. Immersionism, immersion journalism. Immersionist, one who holds the doctrine that immersion is an essential part of Christian baptism. Immersionists, plural of immersionists. Immersions, plural of immersion. Immersive, tending to immerse. Immersively, in an immersive manner. Immersiveness, the quality or degree of being immersive. Immersivity, the quality of being immersive. Enmesh, to enmesh, to catch as with meshes, to ensnare. Enmeshed, simple past and past participle of enmesh. Enmesh, third person singular simple present indicative of enmesh. Enmeshing, present participle and gerund of enmesh. Enmesh, simple past and past participle of enmesh. Immethodi, unmethodical. Immethodical, unmethodical. Immethodically, unmethodically. Immethodicalness, lack of method, the quality of being methodical. Immetrical, not metrical or rhythmical. Emu, alternative form of emu. Emued, simple past and past participle of emu. Emue, present participle and gerund of emu. Emuse, third person singular simple present indicative of emu. Id, any moth in the family Emidae. Imidazole, misspelling of imidazole. Imids, plural of imid. A diminutive of the female given name Imogen. Yes, plural of imi. Immigrant, a non-native person who comes to a country from another country to permanently settle there. Immigrants, plural of immigrant. Immigrate, to move into a foreign country to stay permanently. Immigrate, simple past and past participle of immigrate. Immigrates, third person singular simple present indicative of immigrate. Immigrating, present participle and gerund of immigrate. Immigration, the act of immigrating, the passing or coming into a country of which one is not native born for the purpose of permanent residence. Immigrational, relating to immigration. Immigrationism, a policy that favors immigration. Immigrationist, one who favors immigration. Immigrationists, plural of immigrationist. Immigrations, plural of immigration. Immigrator, an immigrant. Immigrators, plural of immigrator. Immigratory, of or pertaining to immigration. Imminence, the state or condition of being about to happen, imminent quality. Imminences, plural of imminence. Eminences, plural of imminency. Imminency, eminence. Imminent, about to happen, occur, or take place very soon, especially of something which won't last long. Imminent abortion, an impending miscarriage indicated by bleeding and pain along with an effaced cervix. Imminent abortions, plural of imminent abortion. Imminently, in an imminent manner, liable to happen immediately or very soon. Imminentness, the quality of imminent. Imminent, a town and civil parish with a town council in northeast Lincolnshire district, Lincolnshire, England. A port at Immingham Dock on the River Humber is nearby. OS Grid Ref TA 1814. Imminent, to mingle, to mix, to unite, to blend. Involved, simple past and past participle of immingle. Immingles, third person singular simple present indicative of immingle. Iningling, present participle and gerund of immingle. Ininglings, plural of immingling. Iminio, misspelling of iminium. Diminution, reduction, lessening, decrease. Diminutions, plural of diminution. Immiscibilities, plural of immiscibility. Immiscibility, the condition of being immiscible. Immiscible, of two or more liquids that are not mutually soluble, unmixable. Immiscibly, in an immiscible fashion. Immiserate, to impoverish someone, to make someone sink into misery. Immiserated, simple past and past participle of immiserate. Immiserates, third person singular simple present indicative of immiserate. Immiserating, present participle and gerund of immiserate. Immiseration, synonym of immiserization, the process of making miserable or poor, especially of a population as a whole, impoverishment, pauperization. Immiserations, plural of immiseration. Immiserization, the process of making miserable or poor, especially of a population as a whole, impoverishment, pauperization. Immiserizations, plural of immiserization. Immisserize, synonym of immiserate. Immisserize, simple past and past participle of immisserize. Immisserizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immisserize. Immisserizing, present participle and gerund of immisserize. Immissio membri, insertion of the penis into a vagina or anus. Emission, the act of emitting, injection or infusion. Emissions, plural of emission. To send in, put in, insert, inject, or infuse. Emittance, misspelling of emittance. Emittensiometer, a device that measures acoustic emittance. Emittensiometers, plural of emittensiometer. Emittensiometry, relating to emittensiometry. Emittensiometry, the measurement of acoustic emittance. Immitigability, the quality of the imitatable. Immitigable, that cannot be mitigated. Immitigably, in an immitigable manner. Emits, third person singular simple present indicative of emit. Emittance, either the impedance or the emittance of an electrical network considered as alternatives. Emittances, plural of emittance. Emitted, simple past and past participle of emit. Emitted, present participle and gerund of emit. Emix, to mix or blend. Immixable, not mixable. Erext, not mixed, pure. Immixas, third person singular simple present indicative of immix. Immixe, present participle and gerund of immix. Erext, archaic form of immixed. Immixture, the act or the result of immixing. Immixtures, plural of immixture. Immobile, Fixed, not movable. Immobilisate, the material used in immobilization typically of an enzyme. Immobilisates, plural of immobilisate. Immobilization, alternative spelling of immobilization. Immobilizations, plural of immobilization. Immobilize, alternative spelling of immobilize. Immobilize, simple past and past participle of immobilize. Immobilizer, something or someone that immobilizes. Immobilizers, plural of immobilizer. Immobilizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immobilize. Immobilizing, present participle and gerund of immobilize. Immobilism, political or economic inactivity, often a result of ultra-conservative policies. Immobilisms, plural of immobilism. Immobilities, plural of immobility. Immobility, the quality of mat moving. Immobilization, the act or process of preventing a thing from moving. Immobilizations, plural of immobilization. Immobilize, to render motionless, to stop moving or stop from moving. Immobilized, simple past and past participle of immobilize. Immobilizer, alternative spelling of immobilizer. Immobilizers, plural of immobilizer. Immobilizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immobilize. Immobilizing, present participle and gerund of immobilize. Immobilin, a mixture of etmorphine and a tranquilizer, used in veterinary medicine as a muscle relaxant. Immodal, obsolete form of immobile. Immoderacies, plural of immoderacy. Immoderacy, the quality of being immoderate. Immoderancy, lack of moderation, excess. Immoderate, not moderate, excessive. Immoderately, in an immoderate manner. Immoderateness, the quality of being immoderate, lack of moderation or temperance. Immoderation, lack of moderation. Immoderations, plural of immoderation. Immodest, without customary restraint or modesty of expression, shameless. Immodest is, plural of immodesty. Immodestly, in an immodest manner. Immodesty, the state of being immodest, a lack of modesty. Immodulated, not modulated. Immokalee, an unincorporated community in Florida, United States. Immolaze, to kill as a sacrifice. Immolated, simple past and past participle of immolate. Immolates, third person singular simple present indicative of immolate. Immolating, present participle and gerund of immolate. Immolation, the act of immolating or the state of being immolated or sacrificed. Immolations, plural of immolation. Immolator, one who offers in sacrifice. Immolators, plural of immolator. Immolatory, of or relating to immolation. Immomus, trifling, unimportant. Immomentous, not momentous, unimportant, insignificant. Ammonium, any of a class of cations of the general formula RCH equals NH, typically derived from amino acids. Immarniums, plural of ammonium. Immoral, breaching principles of natural law, rectitude, or justice, and so inconsistent with the demands of virtue, purity, or good morals, not right, not moral. Compare unethical, illegal. Immoral minority, immoral majority. Immoralize, alternative form of immoralize. Immoralize, simple past and past participle of immoralize. Immoralizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immoralize. Immoralizing, present participle and gerund of immoralize. Immoralism, a philosophy that does not accept moral principles. Immoralisms, plural of immoralism. Immoralist, an advocate of immorality. Immoralistic, of or relating to immoralism. Immoralists, plural of immoralists. Immoralities, plural of immorality. Immorality, the state or quality of being immoral, vice. Immoralize, to corrupt, to make immoral. Immoralize, simple past and past participle of immoralize. Immoralizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immoralize. Immoralizing, present participle and gerund of immoralize. Immorally, in an immoral manner, not morally, wrongly. Amarigorous, rude, and civil, disobedient, rebellious. Amarigorousness, the state or condition of being amarigorous. An immortal, an administrator of a multi-user dungeon. Immortability, the quality of being immutable. Immortable, able to become immortal. Immortal, not susceptible to death, living forever, never dying. Immortal jellyfish, a jellyfish of species Turritopsis downii. Immortal jellyfishes, plural of immortal jellyfish. Immortal rind, see under rind gall. Immortalization, alternative spelling of immortalization. Immortalizations, plural of immortalization. Immortalize, to give unending life to make immortal. Immortalize, simple past and past participle of immortalize. Immortalizer, alternative form of immortalizer. Immortalizers, plural of immortalizer. Immortalizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immortalize. Immortalizing, present participle and gerund of immortalize. Immortalism, synonym of immortality. Immortalis, one who holds the doctrine of the immortality of the soul. Immortalists, plural of immortalists. Immortalities, plural of immortality. Immortality, the condition of being immortal. Immortalizable, able to be immortalized. Immortalization, the act of immortalizing or state of being immortalized. Immortalizations, plural of immortalization. Immortalize, alternative spelling of immortalize. Immortalize, simple past and past participle of immortalize. Immortalizer, one who immortalizes something. Immortalizers, plural of immortalizer. Immortalizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immortalize. Immortalizeth, third person singular simple present indicative of immortalize. Immortalizing, present participle and gerund of immortalize. Immortally, in an immortal manner. Immortalness, the quality of being immortal. Immortals, plural of immortal. Immortalship, immortality. Immortelle, any of various papery flowers, often dried and used as decoration. Immortelles, plural of immortelle. Immortification, failure to mortify the passions. Immortifications, plural of immortification. Immortify, not mortified, not having undergone mortification, discipline of the bodily appetites, etc. Immorts, plural of immort. Immotile, not motile, lacking the ability to move. Immotility, a lack of motility, the inability to move. Immode, not motive, not causing motion. Immode, to mold into shape, to form. Immolded, simple past and past participle of a mold. Immolding, present participle and gerund of a mold. Immodes, third person singular simple present indicative of a mold. Immovabilities, plural of immovability. Immovability, the state of being immovable. Immovable, incapable of being physically moved, fix. Immovable properties, plural of immovable property. Immovable property, real estate. Immovableness, the quality of being immovable. Immovables, plural of immovable. Immovably, in an immovable manner. Immovable, alternative form of immovable. Immovables, plural of immovable. Immovably, alternative spelling of immovably. Immute, unmoved, motionless, at rest. Plural of im. Immucillin, any of a group of compounds that inhibit purinucleoside phosphorylases. Immucillins, plural of immucillin. Immulectin, a lectin present in hemangica. Immulectins, plural of immulectin. 1. Abbreviation of immunity. Amad, unclean or impure. Immendicities, plural of immendicity. Immendicity, filth, uncleanliness, countable an instance of this. Amand impure. Immendicities, plural of immendicity. Immendicity, filth, uncleanliness, countable an instance of this. Immondity, uncleanness, impurity. Exempt, not subject to. Immune cell, a white blood cell that assists the body in fighting off infections and diseases. Immune cells, plural of immune cell. Immune complex, a molecule formed from the integral binding of an antibody to a soluble antigen, an antigen-antibody complex. Immune complexes, plural of immune complex. Immune deficiencies, plural of immune deficiency. Immune deficiency, alternative form of immunodeficiency. Immune evasion, the evasion by a pathogen of a host's immune system. Immune evasions, plural of immune evasion. Immune privilege, the ability of certain sites of the body to tolerate the introduction of antigens without eliciting an inflammatory immune response. Immune reaction, all the changes in a tissue that result from the action of a foreign substance introduced into an organism. Immune reactions, plural of immune reaction. Immune response, the body's integrated response to an antigen mediated by lymphocytes. Immune responses, plural of immune response. Immune system, the system that differentiates self from non-self and protects the body from foreign substances and pathogenic organisms by producing an immune response. It includes organs, such as the thymus, the spleen and lymph nodes, tissues such as bone marrow, and lymphoid tissues such as the tonsils, cells such as lymphocytes including the B cells and T cells, and cell products such as antibodies. Immune systems, plural of immune system. Immune, simple past and past participle of immune. Immunes, plural of immune. Immunevasion, alternative form of immune evasion. Immunevasions, plural of immunevasion. Immunovasive, alternative form of immunovasive. Immunofacient, causing usually temporary immunity after contraction. Immunification, immunization. Immunify, simple past and past participle of immunify. Immunifies, third person singular simple present indicative of immunify. Immunify, to immunize. Immunifying, present participle and gerund of immunify. Immuning, present participle and gerund of immune. Immunizable, alternative form of immunizable. Immunization, alternative spelling of immunization. Immunizations, plural of immunization. Immunize, alternative spelling of immunize. Immunize, simple past and past participle of immunize. Immunizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immunize. Immunizing, present participle and gerund of immunize. Immunities, plural of immunity. Immunity, the state of being insusceptible to something, notably. Immunity gap, the time period during which a young mammal no longer receives effective immunity to diseases from antibodies in its mother's milk, but its own immune system is not fully developed. Immunizability, the quality of being immunizable. Immunizable, that can be immunized against. Immunization, the process by which a person is safely exposed in a controlled manner to a material that is designed to prime their immune system against that material. Immunization passport, a document that tracks an individual's vaccinations, particularly for children. Immunization passports, plural of immunization passport. Immunizations, plural of immunization. Immunize, to make someone or something immune to something. Immunize, simple past and past participle of immunize. Immunizer, one who immunizes. Immunizers, plural of immunizer. Immunizes, third person singular simple present indicative of immunize. Immunizing, present participle and gerund of immunize. Immuno, relating to the immune systems and processes in a living organism. Immunocompetent, alternative spelling of immunocompetent. Immunocompromise, alternative spelling of immunocompromised. Immunopsychiatry, alternative form of immunopsychiatry. Immunoablation, destruction of patient immune resistance for a medical purpose, such as to prepare for an organ transplant. Immunoablative, relating to or causing immunoablation. Immunoabsorbance, a measure of immunoabsorption. Immunoabsorbances, plural of immunoabsorbance. Immunoabsorbent, misspelling of immunoabsorbent. Immunoabsorbent, that absorbs specific antibodies from a mixture. Immunoabsorbance, plural of immunoabsorbent. Immunoabsorption, Misspelling of immunoabsorption. Immunoabsorption, the removal of a specific antibody by an antigen or of an antigen by a specific antibody. Immunoabsorptive, relating to immunoabsorption. Immunoaccessibility, the condition of being immunoaccessible. Immunoaccessible, accessible to the immune system. Immunoactivating, that leads to immunoactivation. Immunoactivation, the activation of the immune system and subsequent generation of an immune response. Immunoactivator, any material that leads to immunoactivation. Immunoactivators, plural of immunoactivator. Immunoactive, that leads to immunoactivation. Immunoactivities, plural of immunoactivity. Immunoactivity, the quality or degree of being immunoactive. Immunodaptor, a protein that adapts an immune response, typically postponing it. Immunodaptors, plural of immunodaptor. Immunodherence, adherence of immunosensitive cells. Immunodhescent, any of a family of recombinant fusion proteins. Immunoadhescence, plural of immunodhescent. Immunodhesion, immunological adhesion of a bacterium to a cell. Immunoadhesions, plural of immunoadhesion. Immunojunctive, relating to an immunoadjuvant. Immunoadjuvant, any substance added to a vaccine in order to improve the immune response. Immunojuventicity, the condition of being immunoadjuvant. Immunoadjuvants, plural of immunoadjuvant. Immunoadsorbents, misspelling of immunoabsorbents. Immunoadsorbed, modified by immunoadsorption. Immunoadsorbent, that adsorbs specific antibodies from a mixture. Immunoadsorbents, plural of immunoadsorbent. Immunoadsorption, misspelling of immunoadsorption. Immunoadsorption, a method of blood purification used to eliminate pathogenic antibodies. Immunoadsorptions, plural of immunoadsorption. Immunoffinity, the specific chemical affinity between an antibody or antibody domain and an antigen. Immunogent, an immunological agent. Immunogens, plural of immunogent. Immunoblutination, agglutination as part of an immunological assay. Immunogregation, the aggregation of immunological biomarkers as part of an assay. Immunocoli, describing a phosphatase enzyme used in cytology. Immunologic, allergic as a result of an immune reaction. Immunoallergology, allergology of immunological diseases. Immunoanalyzer, an immunoassay analyzer. Immunoanalysers, plural of immunoanalyzer. Immunoanalyzes, plural of immunoanalysis. Immunoanalysis, immunoassay. Immunoanalytical, describing immunological methods of analysis or the analysis of immunological systems. Immunoanalytics, immunological analytics. Immunoanalyzer, alternative form of immunoanalyzer. Immunoanalyzers, plural of immunoanalyzer. Immunontigen, synonym of antigen. Immunontigens, plural of immunontigen. Immunorchitral, relating to immunorchiture. Immunorchiture, the structure of the immune system. Immunoarray, an array of immunological detectors or similar equipment. Immunoarray, Immunoassay, a test for the presence of a substance using the reaction of an antibody to its antigen, making use of the high selectivity of components of biological immune systems. Immunoassayable, suitable for immunoassay. Immunoassay, simple past and past participle of immunoassay. Immunoassaying, the carrying out of an immunoassay. Immunoassays, plural of immunoassay. Immunoautomate, a device that automates various immunological tasks. Immunoband, an extended immunoblot. Immunobands, plural of immunoband. Immunobarrier, any barrier to the functioning of the immune system. Immunobarriers, plural of immunobarrier. Immunobad, a very small bead coated with an antigen or antibody that forms aggregates in the presence of the appropriate antibody or antigen. Immunobads, plural of immunobad. Immunobinding, the direct binding of an antigen to an antibody. Immunobiochemical, relating to immunobiochemistry. Immunobiochemistry, biochemistry of the immune system. Immunobioengineering, immunobiological engineering. Immunobiologic, alternative form of immunobiological. Immunobiological, of or pertaining to immunobiology. Immunobiologically, with regard to immunobiology. Immunobiologicals, plural of immunobiological. Immunobiologics, plural of immunobiologic. Immunobiologist, one who studies immunobiology. Immunobiologists, plural of immunobiologists. Immunobiology, the branch of biology that deals with the biological effects of the immune system. Immunobiomarker, immunological biomarker. Immunobiomarkers, plural of immunobiomarker. Immunobiotic, a probiotic that benefits the immune system. Immunobiotics, plural of immunobiotic. Immunoblast, an antigen-activated lymphocyte that will undergo clonal expansion. Immunoblastic, of or pertaining to immunoblasts. Immunoblastoma, a lymphoma that contains immunoblasts. Immunoblastomas, plural of immunoblastoma. Immunoblasts, plural of immunoblast. Immunoblockade, blockade of a biochemical or immunological reaction by an antibody. Immunoblocked, subjected to an immunoblockade. Immunoblocking, the creation of an immunoblockade. Immunoblot, a blot used in Western blot analysis. Immunobloated, misspelling of immunoblotted. Immunobloating, misspelling of immunoblotting. Immunoblots, plural of immunoblot. Immunoblotted, simple past and past participle of immunoblot. Immunoblotting, the use of immunoblots to analyze proteins. Immunoblottings, plural of immunoblotting. Immunobridging, describing immunological studies between different species, etc. Immunobuffer, a buffer used in immunoffinity binding. Immunobuffers, plural of immunobuffer. Immunobolus, describing any blistering disease of the immune system. Immunocalin, any of a group of immunomodulatory lipocalins. Immunocalins, plural of immunocalin. Immunocamouflage, the binding of a small molecule to a cell surface that provides immunoprotection. Immunocamouflage, simple past and past participle of immunicamouflage. Immunicapabilities, plural of immunicapability. Immunicapability, the capability to generate an immune response. Immunicapture, the direct capture of an antibody spore on the surface of a small bead. Immunicapture, captured as a result of immunicapture. Immunicaptures, third-person singular simple present indicative of immunicapture. Immunicapturing, present participle and gerund of immunicapture. Immunicarrier and immunicarriers, plural of immunicarrier. Immunicastrate, to effect with immunicastration. Immunicastrated, simple past and past participle of immunicastrate. Immunicastration, the removal of the testicular function by inducing an immune response against hypothalamic or pituitary hormones, typically in pigs. Immunoceutical, a pharmaceutical that exploits the immune system. Immunoceuticals, plural of immunoceutical. Immunichallenge, to immunologically challenge. Immunichallenge, lacking a properly functioning immune system. Immunocharacterization, immunological characterization. Immunocharacterizations, plural of immunocharacterization. Immunocharacterize, to characterize an antibody or antiserum. Immunocharacterize, simple past and past participle of immunocharacterize. Immunocheckpoint, a checkpoint protein on T cells. Immunocheckpoints, plural of immunocheckpoint. Immunochemical, pertaining to immunochemistry. Immunochemically, in an immunochemical way. Immunochemicals, plural of immunochemical. Immunochemiluminescence, chemiluminescence used in immunology. Immunochemiluminescent, exhibiting immunochemiluminescence. Immunochemiluminometric, describing the chemiluminometric assay of antibodies. Immunochemist, a chemist whose specialty is immunochemistry. Immunochemistries, plural of immunochemistry. Immunochemistry, the study of the structure of antibody molecules, immunoglobulins, and of their ability to bind with antigens of diverse chemical structure. Immunochemists, plural of immunochemists. Immunotherapeutic, of or relating to immunochemotherapy. Immunochemotherapy, a combination of immunotherapy and chemotherapy. Immunichip, any of several chips used in computational immunology. Immunichips, plural of immunichip. Immunochromatic, synonym of immunochromatographic. Immunochromatographic, of or pertaining to immunochromatography. Immunochromatographical, alternative form of immunochromatographic. Immunochromatographically, by means of immunochromatography. Immunochromatographies, plural of immunochromatography. Immunochromatography, a chromatographic method of immunoassay. Immunochromatological, immunological and chromabological. Immunochromogenic, immunologically chromogenic. Immunocytochemical, misspelling of immunocytochemical. Immunoclearance, the disappearance of an immunological condition. Immunoclear, cleared of antigens. Immunoclearing, the physical removal of antigens. Immunoclinical, immunological and clinical. Immunocolloidal, describing colloidal particles, especially of gold that attach to immunological targets and are thus used in electron microscopy of biological materials. Immunocolocalization, immunolocalization of two or more species. Immunocolocalize, to cause or to undergo immunocolocalization. Immunocolocalize, simple past and past participle of immunocolocalize. Immunocolorimetric, relating to immunocolorimetry. Immunocolorimetry, colorimetry in the presence of antibodies. Immunocolumn, a column used for the chromatographic separation of immune cells. Immunocolumns, plural of immunocolumn. Immunocompatibility, the quality of being immunocompatible. Immunocompatible, compatible with a targeted immune system. Immunocompetent, misspelling of immunocompetent. Immunocompetence, the body's capacity to develop an immune response following exposure to an antigen. Full capability of a healthy immune system. Immunocompetences, plural of immunocompetence. Immunocompetencies, plural of immunocompetency. Immunocompetency, synonym of immunocompetence. Immunocompetent, having a functioning immune system. Immunocompetition, competition between antigens. Immunocomplex, the complex formed between an antigen and an antibody. Immunocomplexation, the formation of an immunocomplex. Immunocomplex, formed into an immunocomplex. Immunocomplexemia, the presence of an immunocomplex in the blood. Immunocomplexes, plural of immunocomplex. Immunocomplexing, the formation of an immunocomplex. Immunocompromisation, alternative form of immunocompromisation. Immunocompromisations, plural of immunocompromisation. Immunocompromise, the state of having a compromised immune system. Immunocompromise, having an immune system that has been impaired by disease or treatment. Immunocompromises, third-person singular simple present indicative of immunocompromise. Immunocompromising, that compromises impairs an immune system. Immunocompromisation, the inability to respond to an infection due to an impaired immune system. Immunocompromise, alternative spelling of immunocompromised. Immunoconcordant, immunologically concordant. Immunoconfocal, relating to the use of confocal microscopy in immunology. Immunoconformational, relating to conformational changes in proteins associated with the action of antibodies. Immunoconjugate, an antibody that has a second material as a conjugate. Immunoconjugates, plural of immunoconjugate. Immunoconjugation, the formation of an immunoconjugate. Immunoconjugations, plural of immunoconjugation. Immunocontent, the amount and range of antibodies in a material. Immunocontents, plural of immunocontent. Immunocontration, the use of an immune response to facilitate contraception. Immunocontraceptive, any drug that causes immunocontration. Immunocontratives, plural of immunocontraceptive. Immunoconversion, the conversion of an existing immune response to respond to a new allergen. Immunoconversions, plural of immunoconversion. Immunoconvert, to undergo immunoconversion. Immunoconverted, modified by immunoconversion. Immunocorrection, the correction of immunological disorders. Immunocorrelate, correlate of immunity. Immunocorrelates, plural of immunocorrelate. Immunocrit, the cellular ratio of immune tolerance, a measure of the aggressiveness of tumors. Immunocrits, plural of immunocrit. Immunocross reactive, relating to an immunological cross reaction. Immunocyte, a leukocyte that is able to induce an immune response by creating antibodies. Immunocytes, plural of immunocyte. Immunocytic, relating to immunocytes. Immunocytochemical, relating to immunocytochemistry. Immunocytochemically, in an immunocytochemical way. Immunocytochemicals, plural of immunocytochemical. Immunocytochemistry, the field of study that encompasses immunochemistry and cytochemistry. Immunocytofluorescence, the use of immunofluorescence to label cells. Immunocytofluorescent, relating to immunocytofluorescence. Immunocytofluorimetry, alternative form of immunocytofluorometry. Immunocytofluorometry, immunological cytofluorometry. Immunocytogenetic, relating to the formation of immunocytes. Immunocytogenetics, the formation of immunocytes. Immunocytohistochemistry, the histochemistry of immunocytes. Immunocytokine, the fusion of an antibody and a cytokine used in cancer therapy. Immunocytokines, plural of immunocytokine. Immunocytolocalization, the localization of a protein or enzyme onto an immunocyte. Immunocytolocalizations, plural of immunocytolocalization. Immunocytological, relating to immunocytology.